Hello everyone. If you like what I'm doing here, please consider subscribing, liking, and commenting. It would really help the channel out quite a bit. Thank you very much.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. It was the immortal Satchel Paige who said it. Never look back. Something might be gaining on you. A philosophy not without its merits, as Lot's wife, for example, could attest to. But like all truisms, there should be exceptions to prove the rule. This is a story of a girl who learned that.
What is happening, Susan?
It's all right, Mrs. Rhoda. Just make sure your seatbelt is fastened and cross your arms in front of your face, like this.
Mesdames et messieurs, we are encountering some difficulty. As a precaution, make sure all seatbelts are fastened and the chair is in the upright position as for landing. As indicated in the manual, please cross your arms.
Our mystery drama, Look Backward Sometimes, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars Roberta Maxwell. It is sponsored in part by X-Lax and Buick Motor Division. I'll be back shortly with Act 1.
The standard engine is a V8. Standard tires, steel-belted radials. There are front and rear stabilizer bars, special springs and shock valving, fast ratio power steering, and a rally steering wheel. What makes all this interesting is that it belongs to a full-size, six-passenger Buick, the 1977 LeSabre Sport Coupe. You'll have to drive it to believe it.
Operating room number 3. The patient, a world-famous millionaire. The operation, open heart surgery. The chances of survival, 50-50. Until...
We're holding this patient for ransom. Unless we get $10 million, we'll kill him. Right here on the operating table.
The Hostage Heart, Gerald Green's supercharged thriller about the deadliest ransom game ever played. The Hostage Heart, now an Avon paperback.
Noisy muffler? Don't compromise. Midas-size.
The next time you hear that noise, don't look around, cause it might be your car. The next time you hear that noise, the sound of your muffler announcing you're coming. Neutralize it, Midas-size it, and Midas today. The next time you hear that noise, don't compromise. Midas-size.
Midas-size your car and you'll never have to buy a muffler for it again. Because at Midas, if anything ever goes wrong, we guarantee to replace the muffler free for as long as you own your American-made car.
The next time you hear that noise, don't compromise. Midas-size.
Buy a Midas muffler and cap set for $4.95, and Midas will donate $1 to Easter Seals. You'll feel warm all over helping Easter Seals.
The whole world loves Susan Talbot. Well, perhaps that's a slight overstatement, but certainly few Americans are unfamiliar with the snub-nosed gamine face, the intense but sparkling blue eyes and winning smile, and the flashing grace of that lithe, sunburned young body on a tennis court. A lady on whom fortune has smiled in reward for long, hard years of self-denial and discipline. Now she's reaping the rewards. The world is her oyster, and everything is coming her way. Money, fame, victory, as it is for her husband, Tony Marquis, everybody's choice for top singer of the year. But never forget Lord Byron's dire line, whom the gods love, die young.
Way to go, Susie. Beautiful.
beat the right out for the backhand down the line. Clean winner.
Oh, your protege's a winner, all right, Bill.
Oh, you know it. That's the service break she needs. Now, she'll take the match now, Tony.
Mm-hmm. Which means she'll definitely go to Rome.
And of course, she needs the Italian championship to keep ahead of the pack.
And win #1 ranking.
Right. The closer she gets to it, the tougher it is to hold on to.
Yeah. Gets tougher and tougher to hold on to a lot of things.
Oh, look at that passing shot. Beautiful. What'd you say?
Nothing.
Tony?
What?
Tony, she's given up an awful lot to get where she is. Now, you're not going to deny her what she's got at last, huh?
Bill, I want a wife, not a champion. You want to know something?
What?
Right now, I'm sitting here rooting for her to lose this match, get eliminated. Because then maybe I'd stand a chance of talking her out of going to Rome. How do you like them apples, Mr. Tennis Pro?
Well, I don't. But, the way it falls, I don't have to. Susie just took Baroshin in straight sets. She won. Well, how do you like them apples, Mr. TV star?
I don't. See, I'm infected by the success bug, too, and I make a lousy loser. But come right down to it. I should complain. Most of the time I'm tied up myself in the recording studio, personal appearances, a flick. But at least the best part of the year I'm in L.A. One spot. I get home nights. Not like Susie, scattered all over the globe the best part of the year. Well, the whole thing is just gradually backed up, and the Rome junket is only the last straw. It had to come to a showdown.
I don't want to talk about it anymore, Tony.
Well, whether you want to or not, you're going to.
Look, I'm dog-tired after last night's wrangle, and I've got a plane to catch.
Forget the plane. They're like streetcars. Another one along any minute.
Tony, I want to get to Rome, get settled and rest. I've only got 3 days before the matches start, and I've got to get used to the surface. If it's as slow as it was last year, I'll have to change my whole game.
Well, that's just what I'm suggesting, Susie.
What?
That we change the whole game.
You mean I give up tennis and play it your way?
No, you don't have to give up tennis. Heaven knows we don't need the money.
You don't think I play tennis just for the money?
Oh, no, of course not. But it isn't all just fun, either.
Darn right it's not. It's a 24-hour-a-day job in season.
You have another job, too. You're my wife.
And if I stayed home like a good little mouse with your schedule, how often would I see you?
Well, at least my work is right here in L.A., where we supposedly live.
And Las Vegas.
Oh, Vegas.
And the personal tour.
Well, it's only a quick swing around the country twice a year. Anyway, you could come with me to Vegas on the tours.
Oh, great. Am I expected to sit through every performance listening to that mellow set of pipes? I love you, Tony, and I love the sound of your voice, but it can get to be too much of a good thing.
Well, you don't have to come to the performances.
What else would I do in Vegas? I have a better idea.
What is it?
Why don't you quit and just travel with me?
What? You've got to be kidding.
Of course I am. Just trying to let you see it from my side.
Oh, come on. You're being unfair. If we had a real home life, maybe I could find a way to cut down. Maybe we could have a kid. Now, that's a full-time job to fill up your days.
Why, you male chauvinist baboon. I should have a child just to please you.
Well, wouldn't it please you?
Not while I'm still hitting for #1.
Susan, suppose I tell you I have had it up to here. I want you to quit right now.
Okay, you want to play it rough? How'd you like me to hand you down the same ultimatum?
Oh, come on, don't be ridiculous. I'm a man.
And I'm a woman. That doesn't make me a second-class citizen anymore. Tony, I haven't time to argue this out now. I've got a commitment to meet in Rome, and I promised Mom and Dad to stay overnight with them in New York. I just have time to make my plane.
Well, you'd better stay over another day. Come on, give us time to settle this, Brannigan.
Settle it how? You're not going to change my mind in one day. So if that's what you want, I might as well leave right now.
Okay. If that's what you want, go ahead.
All right, Tony.
Just one thing.
Yes?
You walk out on me now. Don't you ever come back. Ever.
Why, you... Don't worry, Egohead. If you can't take the heat, I'll get out of the kitchen with the same message you just passed to me. Drop dead.
course, I should have run after her. We've had these blow-ups before. It didn't even occur to me it wouldn't be the same pattern. All I had to do was wait long enough for Susie to cool off, and she'd be back. Only this time, I blew it. She kept on going. Drop dead was the last thing she said to me. If I'd only known how prophetic those 2 words were going to be, I'd have had my foot in the door so fast it could never have closed on us.
It was a rotten visit with Mom and Dad. I didn't want them to know anything was wrong, and I kept waiting for Tony's call. About 2 in the morning, I gave up and called him. No answer. Then I got mad and caught my plane for Rome. But trouble always comes in bunches. Mechanical difficulty set us down in Paris. I had to change planes. I should have remembered. It isn't bunches. It's in threes troubles come. I decided not to wait for our substitute plane and took advantage of a flight about to leave with a few other passengers who were as eager as I was to get on with it. I didn't care there were no first-class seats available. I prefer to ride in the tail section anyway, and there's less chance of getting recognized there. So as soon as I was aboard, I grabbed a seat beside a sweet little old lady. Do you mind if I join you?
Oh, no. No, please. Be my guest.
Sorry to crowd you, but they grounded our plane.
Grounded?
Some kind of mechanical difficulty.
And my friend told me these things were so safe.
You trust your friend. They are. Are you from Paris?
No, from Wisconsin.
Oh, visiting in Paris?
No, I go to Rome. But here, the man with the charter says it is a set-down. That is right?
I guess. This is a charter plane?
Yes. I didn't see you before when we came over the Atlantic.
Because I wasn't on this plane.
Oh.
They grounded our plane, you see, and we had to transfer so we could go on to Rome.
Ah, so you're going to Rome, too. That's nice. Oh, what does it say on the little box that lights up front?
Mm-hmm. Oh, fasten your seatbelt. We're about to taxi to take off.
Oh, excuse me for asking.
Not at all.
76 years I lived, and I remember my father saying, Rosie, listen close and remember, keep your head in the clouds all you want. You couldn't go wrong so long as you keep your feet on the ground. 70 years I lived the way he taught me, and now I have to break my promise to him.
I don't think he meant it so literally.
You didn't know, Schoen Reuben. He meant it like he meant it. Now I turned it upside down. My feet could be in the clouds, but my head is down on the ground, telling me I should stay there.
This is only a short hop overland. You've already flown across the Atlantic and nothing happened.
So shouldn't I quit while I'm ahead? Oh, don't mind me, child. An old lady who can't complain. What's the sense living? My name is Rosie. Rosie Roeder. What do they call you?
Why, my name is Susan. Susan Talbot.
That's nice. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Miss, I think. You're not married?
Yes, I am.
Some lucky young man, Mr. Talbot.
No, his name is Marquis.
Oh, it's a nice name, too. Oh. Why do we wait?
I gathered from the hostess we have some VIP coming aboard.
VIP?
Very important person.
Ah.
There's at least one on every plane.
Imagine. Now, who would think on a charter flight there could be anyone important?
Well, you never can tell.
All these people, I think, where do they come from? What are they like? I look and I try to guess.
That's an old game on planes, with me anyway.
Could you guess?
Sure. Some of them anyway. Let's see. The couple 2 seats ahead of us on the other side of the aisle?
Yes.
Just married. On a honeymoon trip. In love, Natch. And English.
In love, I could see. How do you know the rest?
I remember the way I used to keep looking at my wedding ring when I started wearing it. They're English because her shoes are so ugly and his suit is so beautiful.
A lady detective.
There is no need, stewardess. I can't find my seat. Let us please have no further delay. You can tell your pilot Juan Miron is here and take off. And be sure to wake me at Geneva when we land. I have some cablegrams to send.
Mesdames et messieurs, we are now ready for departure. Please fasten your seatbelts as we taxi out for takeoff. And make sure that your chairs are in the upright position and that all cigarettes have been extinguished.
Well, here we go. About time. Oh, Mrs. Roder? Are you all right? Nervous?
Oh, a little. Would you, Oh, but how silly that is.
Would you like me to hold your hand?
Oh, would you mind? I never thought to admit it, but I get scared out of my mind.
There's nothing to be scared of. Nothing at all.
The safest method of transportation in the world. Susan was right to reassure a worried old lady of 76, except there was one thing she couldn't know. That her premonition of trouble coming in threes was to be fulfilled. For this particular plane, on this particular flight, with certain particular passengers, had a rendezvous with destiny. I shall return shortly with Act Two.
I'm talking to Susan Handelman about Freedent, the great-tasting chewing gum that won't stick to most dental work. Mrs. Handelman, what do you like best about Freedent?
Best? Well, it's got to be the fact that Freedent doesn't stick to my caps. It's just amazing. It really does what they say.
What about Freedent's taste?
Oh, it's delicious. I wasn't expecting Freedent to taste as good as regular gum, but it really does.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a nice, refreshing taste. And you know something?
What's that?
Because I've been chewing Freedent, my whole family's tried it, and none of them have a sticking problem but me. Well, they just like the taste.
Would you recommend Freedent?
Oh, I sure would. Well, that's how I found out about it. My neighbor brought some over one day and told me about how great it was. I tried Freedent, it didn't stick, and I've liked the taste. So now I've been recommending it to everybody.
Well, thanks very much for your time, Mrs. Handelman. Feel free to chew Freedent in both spearmint and peppermint flavors. It won't stick to most dental work. Freedent from Wrigley's.
How would you like to earn money by going shopping? Just go to your True Value hardware store and buy a General Electric appliance that's on their rebate list, and you can earn $2, $3, or $5 back from GE. Buy a GE lighted makeup mirror that's versatile in 3 ways. You can stand it on a shelf, hang it on a wall, or carry it around. Get it and earn back $2 from GE. Or invest in a GE 2-slice toaster oven broiler that toasts, bakes, and broils without heating up the house or wasting energy. When you buy it, you get $3 back. Or get a GE self-cleaning iron from True Value hardware stores. It cleans by flushing out lint and mineral deposits when you push one button. When you buy the self-cleaning iron, you get $5 back from GE. Take advantage of General Electric rebate days in effect now through March 12th at participating True Value hardware stores.
True Value hardware is more than just a name. It's a way of doing business that means True Value.
The liftoff from Paris is smooth, with no hint of the disaster to come, and the flight to Geneva equally uneventful. At Geneva, a few passengers debark to be replaced by others, and then Flight 11 takes off, winging across the snowy wastes of the Alps, headed for Rome. And this part of the journey is not so smooth.
The captain has asked me to make sure that all of you have your seatbelts fastened. We are encountering some thermal drafts about which there is nothing to worry. But until we pass through the turbulence, it is better to be secured.
Mrs. Rhoda. Rosie. Mrs. Rhoda, are you all right?
Yes, dear.
We've just hit some rough weather, par for the course over the Alps.
Oh, don't tell my head that. Tell my stomach instead.
Look, if you're feeling sick, best thing to do is to keep your mind off it.
I couldn't agree more. But how?
Well, concentrate on something.
Oh, how about the game?
What game?
The one you taught me to play. Who people are.
Oh.
What they are.
Yes. But didn't we exhaust most of the possibilities?
Some new people got on at Geneva.
That's right. Now, let's see.
What about that boy there?
You mean one of the two American boys who had all the trouble about getting their Alpine equipment stowed away?
No, the dark one, with the sad eyes.
Oh, that one. Yes. He's beyond me, a mystery. Those long, sensitive hands.
It's a beautiful face.
Latin. Like a medieval ascetic, the way I saw them in history books. Like he was a kind of saint.
Or a sinner.
Why do you say that?
Just leave me alone, hostess. If I feel sick, I will be in private. Now, watch your feet.
I'm terribly sorry, old man, but...
Sorry, my senor Englishman. I have no time for apology. I'm going to be sick.
I say, hostess, that man should be belted in.
I'm afraid our poor VIP's composure is a little upset.
I think it's his stomach. Like mine. Oh, it's so rough that Oh, what is it?
It's all right, dear. Just make sure your seatbelt is fastened and cross your arms in front of your face, like this.
Mesdames et messieurs, we are encountering some difficulty. As a precaution, make sure all seatbelts are fastened and the chair is in the upright position as for landing. As indicated in the manual, please cross your arms.
I came home, dog-tired from a show rehearsal to the empty house, poured myself a scotch. I turned on the radio and was on my way to the fridge when the news came through. Exploding me, jet-propelled for Geneva. By the time I reached there, the casualty list was being released, and the news of the crash was all bad. Then, suddenly, selfishly for me, it was all good, because Susan's name wasn't on it. And the news had come through that the plane had broken up. The tail section, with 6 passengers, was unaccounted for. So, the news was bad again. Somewhere in the icy wastes of the Alps was whatever remained of the plane's tail, with its 6 passengers. And one of those 6 was my wife, Susan.
Come on, Senor Saint. You've got to try again.
No, it is hopeless, senorita. We were fortunate to get the young Englishman free before the flame.
But his wife's still in there.
We don't know. Maybe she remained with the rest of the plane. That is beyond us. We cannot brave the fire.
I guess you're right.
What about the Englishman? He is badly hurt.
I think he has a concussion, too.
At least he is alive. As all of us survivors are.
5 of us. Just 5.
Courage, senorita. Courage.
We're going to need it, Senor Saint.
My name is Pepe. Pepe Silvera. Why do you call me the other?
Oh, I don't know. I've forgotten why at the moment.
How can you talk? We must go to...
Go? Where?
How do I know? This wilderness, I don't know where we are, but I cannot stay here and die. I am Juan Miron.
It doesn't matter who any of us is.
Do you realize where we are? On the edge of a glacier in sub-zero cold.
Before it gets dark, we should seek some shelter from the wind.
Why don't you look for some, Pepe? And you, Senor Miron, see what you can do for the Englishman. I have to see if I can help poor Mrs. Roeder.
Oh, the old lady. Is she...
I don't think she's badly hurt, just bruised and shaken and scared to death. Like the rest of us. Go on, Pepe. See if you can find us some shelter.
I will see what I can do, senorita.
Mrs. Roeder. Rosie. Rosie, can you hear me?
Who's that? Polly. Polly, is that you?
No, it's Susan.
Susan?
You know, we met on the plane. We were sitting together.
Oh, Susan. The little girl next to me, the plane. And we crashed. Oh, yes, I'm all right now. But the others?
Some of us escaped. Don't worry about that now. I just want to know about you.
Oh, Help me up.
Are you sure?
Help me up. Nothing the matter with me but my silly old head. Oh, dear God.
The plane. That's all that's left.
And the people.
You, me, the VIP, remember? He's trying to help the young Englishman over there.
That's all?
All we know about. Oh, except Pepe. He went to look for somewhere we can find some shelter from the wind.
Pepe?
The young boy I thought looked like a saint. You said a sinner.
Oh. Why me, Susan?
Beg pardon?
To be saved. Why me?
I guess that's up to God. I mean, why any of us here?
But I am old. My life is over. What is it to save for? Except for one little thing.
Perhaps you were saved just for that.
You think maybe? I don't know. Such a small thing. You don't know why I was going to Rome.
No, but
so long before your time, World War II, there was a campaign in Italy, the Italian campaign, Sicily. Salerno, he came through. Then at a place called Anzio, a beach like you go to for the summer, he was killed. Just another American soldier. He was buried in Italy, a big graveyard with so many others. Only a little white cross. I saw it in a picture. The soldiers showed it to me. A big field. So many crosses. And for Paul, the same. No stone?
Stone?
He should have had a stone. I thought to mark where he was lying, but not in that place. That was only the place of the crosses. So we let it be. But when my husband died last year, it was still in my mind. And I thought, I am old. Who needs money? What is there left to live for? So I will go to Italy, and I will take my Polly, and I will bring him home to America.
Senorita.
Yes, Pepe?
There is some shelter over there. A kind of cave, not far. And at least it guards us from the wind.
Oh, that's wonderful. The plane is almost burned out. Better get out of the wind. We can huddle together for the night. By morning, a rescue plane is sure to find us. Here, Rosie. Wrap this blanket around your legs. Put one of these coats around you. Not too badly burned.
Oh, who's to care? So long as it's warm. Oh, you bundle up too, Susan.
Once I get the English boy warm. Excuse me, Rosie. I've got to take care of him.
Suzanne. Suzanne. What happened to you? Where are you? Somebody. Where is somebody?
Here's somebody.
Oh, about time. Where have you been, Suzanne?
Suzanne?
I love your name. Suzanne, my wife. Give me a hand.
Here.
Oh, that's good.
Are you okay?
A bit knocked about, but dauntless, what?
That means okay. Then I'm glad.
Glad? Oh, definitely.
It's nice you're feeling better.
Silly name. Peter means stone or something. Oh, my sweet Susie. It was all going to be so wonderful.
Is he
just in a coma, I think, I hope. So, his name is Peter. Better than just being the Englishman.
Oh, I'm glad we know his name. It's somehow important to all of us to have a name.
I know what you mean. I wonder how he knew mine.
I don't think he did. He said it different than you do.
He did. Suzanne. That isn't English. It's French.
Maybe that was his wife's name.
You mean he thinks that I... Oh, the poor guy. I only hope...
No. Don't shoot me.
Why should I not?
Give me one good reason, you carrion pig. No, keep him away from me. He is a murderer, an assassin. Oh, save me, senorita. Do not let him shoot me.
Get away from the senorita, you obscenity.
Please, save me.
Pepe, what are you doing with that gun?
What am I doing with it? I ask myself that question.
Give it to me, Pepe.
I am afraid, senorita. I cannot do that.
Pepe.
No, senorita. Please. No, please, stay away from me.
The gun.
Out of the way, old woman.
Oh, stand back, Miron. I have the gun. Now, what is this?
This murdering little pig would have shot me, but
I'd rather hear it from Pepe. Pepe, you all right?
I don't know. There is a buzz in my head. And what does it matter about me anymore? I have failed my country and myself. This one Miron, he and his kind, the few of the terror, have seized our country and made the rest of us slaves. I was assigned to liquidate him, to exterminate him like a rat.
Pepe.
Do not cringe, Susan. This is the way of life for some of us. I am a student at Geneva, but when my orders came, I caught the plane I was ordered to, and if we had not crashed, I would have killed him with no turning back.
You see, a confessed murderer. Shoot him before he kills us all. You cannot trust
Oh, shut up. Then why were you threatening him, Pepe?
This gross monster has something which might at least ward off cold and death. Yeah, he has a flask of brandy he was trying to keep for himself.
Pepe, what is it? What's wrong?
My arm. It happened when we crashed. I think, senorita, I think it is broken.
Now is our chance, senorita.
Stay
Give me that.
right where you are, Miron. Is it true what he said?
You, would you take the word of this assassin against mine?
I sure as heck would. Come on, level.
I have a heart condition. It is true that I carry, but it is strictly medicinal.
Give Mrs. Roeder the flask.
But I need it
Give
for my...
it to her.
Very well.
Okay, Rosie. Give Pepe some brandy.
Pepe would be all right. It was the pain made him faint.
Give him some brandy. Why are you looking at me like that?
I was only thinking what a good judge you are of men. I called him the sinner. You called him the saint.
Well, whatever he is, we must fix his arm.
I can help too. What is it?
A plane.
It's coming over us.
You stay with Pepe and Peter. Come on, Miron. We've got to signal them somehow.
In a moment, the rescue plane will be passing. Will it spot the survivors and relay a message to bring them relief? I control these things less than fate. And as fate will have it, this plane does not spot them. Why? Perhaps because the drama is not played out. There is some cosmic reason why these people at this place, in this moment of time, must play out their lives to a further resolution. I will return shortly with Act 3.
The 1977 Buick Regal. It comes with Buick's terrific V6 engine. It carries 6 people and lots of Buick comfort. It's lean, it's maneuverable in city traffic. It's the most luxurious mid-sized car Buick builds. Yeah, this new Regal is pretty much everything a car should be, except for one thing. It isn't yours yet, but it can be. Just see your Buick dealer for a test drive soon.
Dedicated to the free spirit, just about everyone.
I guess I'm lucky. My family's always been healthy. Oh, a touch of constipation now and then. But we've got X-Lax for that.
When you need a laxative, shouldn't your first choice be the one more families buy than any other? That's today's X-Lax. Families like the chocolated taste. You'll like the way X-Lax works, gently overnight for relief in the morning. Next time, make gentle chocolated X-Lax your first choice for occasional use only as directed.
We've always been healthy, and X-Lax is part of that.
This is WBBM Chicago.
Is your bank open when you're busy and closed when you're not? Northwest Federal Savings knows that a good place to save is ready for you when you're ready. So Northwest Federal Savings is open 63 hours a week in all the places you might be. Because there are 5 convenient Northwest Federal Savings Centers throughout Chicagoland's great Northwest Territory. If you're shopping around 6 Corners, there's a Northwest Federal west of Cicero Avenue on Irving Park. Saving in Des Plaines, Northwest Federal's just east of the Tri-State on Dempster. Cashing a check in Norridge, Northwest in the Harlem Irving Shopping Center. Live near Edison Park? Save at Northwest just east of the train station. Looking for a loan in Arlington Heights? We're at Algonquin and Gulf. 5 convenient Northwest Federal Savings locations for all of your savings needs. Open 63 hours a week to satisfy them all. Northwest Federal Savings keeps the best hours yours.
Northwest Federal Savings Time, 63 hours a week.
Five people clinging to the side of a mountain in the frozen Alps. With dusk, a rescue plane has missed them, and now they must huddle together through the night, striving for warmth to last it out, praying for the dawn and the chance that searching planes will locate them. No one else to shape their destiny but a young girl with a gun, accustomed to the discipline of the athlete, but not prepared for a command position, except for the symbol of her rule, the gun. Now it is the next morning.
Senorita Talbot.
You know me?
Yes, I play some tennis myself. Yes, I know you, Senorita. Now you listen to me carefully. We must get out of this.
We all have to.
A moment ago, the mist lifted, and I think I spotted a town far below.
How does that help us?
I will not mince words. I am a rich and very powerful man, Senorita. I can make you rich, too, when we return. It is snowing already and getting heavier. And soon, all signs of the plane will be obliterated. We are the only strong. We must escape together.
How?
There were 2 young Americans who brought some climbing equipment aboard the plane. I managed to drag it out. It was not burned. You and I could escape down the mountain.
What about the others?
An assassin, a dying Englishman, and an old woman. They're weak. Let them die. We are the strong who deserve to live. Well, Senorita, what do you say?
Senorita Talbot, wait. I promise when we return, you will...
Susan, darling, did that plane see us?
I don't know.
Do you think they know we are here?
I don't know. How's Peter?
Oh, you can see about the same.
And Pepe?
He is resting. I did what I could for his arm and gave him some brandy. Oh, here, child, you need some yourself. You're half frozen.
Thanks. It's bitterly cold. That helps.
Mr. Miron must be frozen, too. I'll take him some.
No, you should.
It's better for me to move my old bones a little.
I didn't mean that. I meant... Oh, nothing. I suppose at least physically you can call him a human being. Give him his ration of brandy.
Mr. Miron, would you like a little brandy, maybe to ward off the cold?
Senorita.
Pepe, I thought you were asleep.
Not while he is around. He has troubled you, this Miron.
He doesn't trouble me, Pepe. He makes me want to throw up.
What did he want?
He wanted us to climb down the mountain together and leave the rest of you here.
Perhaps I should have killed him, after all.
That never solves anything, Pepe.
You are right.
Looks like there might be hope for the human race.
It is what I must believe. Yes.
And for the individual, too.
I wonder. This Senora Rhoda, we have been talking, and she has told me of her son. We are of the same age, her son and I. I mean, when he died. And she has asked me if I want to return to America with her.
Would you go with her?
Would I?
I think you should, Pepe. You were not made for hate. What you are interested in is justice. You can find that in America.
She is quite alone. She lives on a small farm. There is no one left to work it.
Then go. You are not her son, but you can fill out her last years and find yourself and where you want to go at the same time. She's very lonely, like you.
Oh, it is a dream of the most miraculous. No, but it cannot work.
Why not?
When we return to civilization, Miron will arrange It's so I rot in jail for the rest of my life.
When the time comes, Pepe, we'll see. In the meantime, I don't like guns. So I feel I can return this now.
Look at this mirror.
Forgive me, senorita, if I was too rough. But it was necessary, you see, that I have the gun. Now, we are at last back to where we belong.
Miron, you pig! I swear!
Quiet, assassin. Now, listen to me, all of you. The snow is starting to get heavy. Before it gets dark, the Senorita Talbot and I are leaving to go down the mountain.
I am not going with you.
There is one place too steep to manage alone. It will take two healthy people. The Englishman is no use. The old lady, she's too old. And my friend, the assassin, has a broken arm. You will go with me, or I shoot the rest of them.
You had better go, senorita.
No, sir, not on your life or mine. He'd have to shoot me, too. You go alone, or stay with the rest of us, Senor Miron.
A plane! There is a plane that's coming.
Oh, she is right.
A helicopter! He's almost over us.
He's going to land. Senorita, we're safe. Senorita Talbot, what is it? Miron, help me. She's fainted.
I told them at the hospital in Zurich that I was Tony Marquez, her husband, and somebody recognized me. And at last, I had her back in my arms again. And there, in that quiet hospital room, she told me the story of those 7 hours on that godforsaken, windswept mountain ledge.
So, Pepe will go back to Wisconsin with Mrs. Roeder. They'll be good for each other, those two, I think. Tony, can we help them?
Oh, I think so. I know a few strings. We'll pull and see what happens. What about Miron?
That's the irony of all time. I guess he really did have a heart condition. He collapsed on the way to the hospital and was dead before they got him there.
For his sins. Seems that God was with you all the way.
All of us. Oh, Tony. How long is it since I walked out on you? 1,000 years?
It'll seem that way if you don't intend to walk back in.
If you'll have me.
Oh, darling. Let's go home.
I can't wait.
No Rome?
I can't think about tennis now. There's something I have to do. I must see Peter.
Why, I thought you said he was out of danger.
He is, but he doesn't know that his wife is lost, that she'll never be found. And, Tony, I feel that I should be the one to tell him. Will you understand?
I'll tell you something, lover. I don't think I'll ever misunderstand again. Suzanne? Susie?
Yes, Peter. I'm here.
Suzanne? You're not Suzanne.
No, Peter.
But I know you. Your face. Yes, you were on the plane.
Yes, Peter, I was on the plane.
We crashed, didn't we? But why are you here? Where's Suzanne?
Peter, listen to me. Suzanne...
Oh, of course. You don't have to tell me. I suppose I've known all along. She didn't make it, did she?
No, Peter, she didn't.
Why was I saved? Why didn't you let me die? I'm sorry. That's childish, isn't it? I'm sorry.
So am I, Peter. More sorry than I can tell you. Except that, just a little bit, I've been where you are myself. But I'm so lucky, because grief is a long thing, and for me it was short.
I'm glad for you.
What about you?
Oh, what can I say? I suppose life is longer, and I'll have to find some way to live it.
I wish I knew how to tell you.
I suppose I have to learn how to forget. But that's my problem. You go live your life and be happy.
If it'll help any, your tragedy taught me to realize what I almost threw away.
That helps a lot. Goodbye, whoever you are. And, thanks.
Oh, I say.
Yes?
Forgive me. I don't even know your name.
Oh, my name is... It doesn't matter, Peter. It really doesn't matter. Where are we going, Tony?
Well, I don't know. Do you?
Yes?
Back to Geneva, I guess, and the next plane for Rome?
I'm not going to Rome. Tennis isn't that important anymore.
Well, singing isn't that important either. You want to go? You want to have me? I'll go where you go.
Darling, turn it around. It makes more sense. I go where you go.
Susie, in the last few days, I lost you twice. Never again. I'll do anything to keep you.
That goes double.
I can always sing. I can wait a few years. Hey, let's have you go up to the top first.
No, Tony. I won't let you give up your career. Mine doesn't matter anymore.
Now, wait a minute.
No. Now, you hold up and listen to me. This isn't something that either of us has to sweat out deciding. It's already being done for us.
Mm-hmm. And what does that mean?
Something I found out in the hospital. I'm not going to be eligible for singles much longer, and I can't qualify for doubles, mixed or otherwise, because my partner's too young to handle a racket.
What?
All he or she will be good for is making a racket.
Susie, you aren't... Now, you mean we're going to have a baby?
That's why they held me in the hospital for observation. I almost lost it.
Oh, but you're all right now.
Mother and child are doing fine. Oh, darling, I love you.
And I love you. What is it?
Can't you hear them blowing their horns? We're blocking traffic.
Forget them. They don't know where they're going. We're the only ones who do.
We started with Satchel Paige's sage philosophy. We end with another. The considered opinion of the wahoo bird, who always flew backwards because he didn't care where he was going. He just wanted to see where he had been. Somewhere between the two lies the truth. So sometimes look backwards, because what is trying to catch up may be someone you want to have catch up. I'll be back shortly.
We know a mover who knows about moving. We're going to a new hometown. He cares about the treasures he's packing. With Allied Van Lines, we're safe and sound. Allied Van Lines, our people care. More families choose us to get them there. Moving with Allied Van Lines, the most trusted in the world.
I'm Jack Shang, president of Allied Van Lines. I want you to know that all of the people at Allied have made a personal commitment to make your move go smoothly. Our moving counselors, packers, van foremen, and agents are proud that more families choose Allied than any other mover. They're dedicated and committed to doing the best possible job for you.
Allied Van Lines, our people care. More families choose us to get them there. Moving with Allied Van Lines, the most trusted in the world.
See the yellow pages for the Allied Van Lines agent near you. Hey there, it's spring. It's time to put on a happy yard. And the best way to do that is with big savings on lawn and garden tools from True Temper.
Swing into spring and summer, put on a happy yard. True Temper's got your number. It's really not that hard.
Are you planting, cultivating, or weeding a garden? The True Temper finest quality all-purpose garden hoe is your answer. Or if you have trees that need a trimming, the True Temper 21-inch bow saw will do the job quickly. It's a handy tool around the home and great for campers, too. These and other True Temper tools are on sale now.
We'll save you lots of money. Save on the very best. Just so it's bright and sunny, True Temper does the rest. And here's to a great spring, the True Temper way. Put on a happy yard.
See your Two-Temper dealer soon for special spring savings.
Within 4 weeks after the birth of her child, Susan was back on the courts. Within 6 months, she had her game back. And picking only the major tournaments, I don't have to tell you what she accomplished in the last year. Not only #1 in tennis, but Sportswoman of the Year. Now she plays weekend tennis, and not so much of that. Tony and she have a boat, and the beginnings of a crew. Tony Jr. Our cast included Roberta Maxwell, Russell Horton, Earl Hammond, Kristoffer Tabori, and Martha Greenhouse. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by Buick Motor Division and X-Lax. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
CBS News follows on WBBM Chicago. Believe it or not, summer is on its way. Some of the flowers will be blooming come April, believe it or not. You'll be walking around without a heavy coat. That may not seem uncomfortable after the cold, cold weather, but it can get just as muggy and uncomfortable this summer. So why not look into buying a Bryant Quiet Line Deluxe Central Air Conditioning System? It's the right time to buy Bryant, so call Berwyn Western in Berwyn at 484-0605. He's got the right price, too. That's Bryant Air Conditioning, the unit that saves you more money because it has the lowest EER rating. It could save enough money to pay for your Bryant Quiet Line Deluxe in 5 years, believe it or not. So call Berwyn Western in Berwyn at 484-0605. That's 484-0605.
CBS News. A hijacked Spanish airliner landed a short time ago at the airport in Seville in southern Spain. This is Doug Poling reporting on the CBS radio network. There's no word yet what happened after the landing in Spain. Earlier, airport officials in Morocco said the plane overflew Casablanca Airport and then headed toward Spain. There are up to 38 people aboard. The plane was commandeered over the Mediterranean Monday by an Italian man. It landed at Abidjan, the capital of the Ivory Coast in West Africa. There, the gunman got his two demands. His 3-year-old daughter, living with her mother in the Ivory Coast, was put aboard the plane with about $140,000. Officials there said the man had worked in the Ivory Coast, but was expelled in 1972 after engaging soldiers in a gunfight at the airport. More news in a moment.
You're driving along and the light turns red, so you stop. The light turns green and everyone goes. That is, everybody but you and the fella behind you who's leaning on his horn. So you try to start your car? No way. So you get out, you lift the hood, and you suddenly realize that the only thing you know how to do is to kick the tires. I'm Gene King for the Council of Better Business Bureaus. You know, with the number of cars on the road, it's really disgraceful how few of us know anything about how our cars work. Especially since we all get owner's manuals when we buy them. Take transmission, for example. You know, transmission trouble can be a big surprise. Don't let it happen to you. If you take good care of it, your car's transmission should never need an overhaul, much less a replacement, before it's given you up to 8 years or 100,000 miles of dependable service. Check your transmission fluid when you get gas or oil, and read your owner's manual.
The The U.S. Geological Survey reports the flow of water into the nation's 5 largest rivers increased significantly last week, but the survey says much more moisture will be needed to signal an end to the long drought in the Midwest and the West. A California congressman is asking the House Budget Committee to provide up to $400 million more for relief in drought-stricken areas. Democrat Robert Leggett says the need for federal disaster help has been seriously underestimated by the Carter administration. Military helicopters on Monday flew over the Great Plains on rescue and airlift missions. They were trying to help people marooned by huge snowdrifts as high as the houses in some cases. A blizzard in that part of the country has been blamed for at least 18 deaths. Some of the missions were flown from Ellsworth Air Force Base in South Dakota, where Major Dennis Olson described the area.
The farms and communities are fairly widespread, and nearly everywhere we flew, within a quarter to a half a mile, there was a small farmhouse or a small community, and people were outside with us waving red flags or flashing mirrors at us to try to attract our attention to bring them some food or some water.
Major Olson says among those helped were Indians on the Rosebud Reservation who were stranded and needed food and medicine. The House has approved a measure to ban the importing of chrome from Rhodesia. The United States still imports the metal despite UN-sponsored trade embargoes against the white minority government in Salisbury. The Senate must now act on the bill. Its House sponsor, Democrat Donald Fraser of Minnesota, discussed what the Senate may do.
I'm confident that the Senate has votes enough to pass the bill. Their procedures are different so that they always face the prospect of some kind of filibuster, but my impression is that they're going to be able to bring this to a final conclusion probably on Tuesday, and that they will pass it.
The Carter administration is asking Congress to decriminalize the possession of marijuana for personal use and says it is carefully re-examining its position on penalties for possessing cocaine. But U.S. Customs Commissioner Vernon Acree warned against marijuana decriminalization. He said without the threat of criminal prosecution, many who formerly feared involvement with marijuana may now become involved. The African nation of Zaire has asked for material assistance from the United States to help repel thousands of invaders from Angola. 7 more Americans were evacuated today from the battle zone in southwest Zaire. The State Department says there are 2 Americans, both missionaries, still in that area. Now this.
We're asking people what gift they'd like to receive most from Jockey for buying our quality underwear. Sir, what would you like?
Well, let me put it this way. Money.
Ma'am, what would you like?
Ooh, I just love to get some money.
Sir, what would you want from Jockey for buying Jockey brand underwear?
Some bread. You think?
Dough, spelled M-O-N-E-Y. A little moolah.
Official U.S. currency. We at Jockey can take a hint. So to introduce you to our underwear, we offer the Jockey $3 savings plan. From now until March 26, when you buy 6 of our famous white underwear styles in any combination, athletic shirts, T-shirts, V-necks, briefs, midways, or tapered boxers, we'll give you some money. Just send us the wrappers and sales slip, and we'll send you a check for $3. Limit $3 per family. Sir, what's the one thing you'd like most from Jockey when you buy our underwear?
Well, young fella, I'll give you a hint. It's green, it goes in your wallet, and it doesn't grow on trees.
The International Trade Commission is recommending a sharp increase in tariffs on imported TV sets. The domestic TV industry claims that imports, especially from Japan, are seriously hurting the sale of sets made in this country. The Interior Department reports after declining during the 2 previous years, energy use in the U.S. increased last year by 4.8%. Petroleum was the nation's largest source of energy, supplying 47.2%. This is Doug Poling, CBS News.
News Radio 78, WBBM, Chicago.
Good evening, everyone. This is Alan Bickley on News Radio 78 in Chicago. The weather outlook for the rest of the night, fair and warmer and rather windy with a low in the upper 40s. Tomorrow, Chicago is going to be partly sunny, windy and warmer with a chance of showers late in the day and a high in the low 70s. Cooling off Tuesday night, low in the middle 30s. Then on Wednesday, mostly sunny with a high in the upper 50s. Midway Airport now reports 58 degrees, a rise of 2 degrees in the past hour. Lakefront reading 54, 56 degrees at O'Hare Field, and 54 in DuPage County. The humidity 60%, the wind south at 12 miles per hour. The WBBM News Times 11:30, and in the news, the city of Danville has begun taking steps to dismiss the 55 firemen who went on strike last Thursday. Mayor David Palmer says the city has filed complaints with city's Board of Fire and Police Commissioners against each of the striking firemen. Under a city ordinance passed 2 days before the strike began, the board must fire each fireman proven to have participated in the strike. In a move to obtain evidence against individual strikers, city officials told police to take pictures of picket lines. The striking firemen and city negotiators have refused to sign a new contract because of a dispute over possible reprisals against union members who walked off the job. More than 2,000 members of the United Auto Workers walked off their jobs today at the General Motors Central Foundry Plant near Danville. John Reed, who is chairman of the United Auto Workers Locals 579, says the dispute centers around working conditions and grievances rather than money. Fred Partito asked Reed when union members will be back on the job.
Well, I don't have any idea right now. We've got another meeting scheduled at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. We'll just have to see what happens at that point.
How long are you prepared to stay out?
We're prepared to stay out until we get a just settlement on our problems for membership.
Reed says the union is asking for improved ventilation and more time off for workers with hot jobs, such as pouring metal castings. The General Motors Foundry Division makes metal castings for GM and other automakers. GM is also faced with strikes at the diesel plant in Indianapolis and the body plant in Euclid, Ohio. All of the disputes center upon non-monetary issues. The federal judge in Chicago has made it easier for independent candidates and new political parties to get on the ballot for the June 7th mayoral election in Chicago. Federal Judge Bernard Decker declared unconstitutional parts of the Illinois Election Code requiring more signatures on nominating petitions for local candidates than for statewide candidates. One state law requires independent candidates and new parties to have 25,000 signatures to get on the ballot for a statewide election. Another law requires independents to submit nominating petitions with signatures of at least 5% of the number of votes cast in the preceding mayoral election. And new parties would have to turn in petitions with at least 8% of that number. In line with that law, the Chicago election commissioners required independents in the mayoral election to have nearly 36,000 signatures and new parties to have more than 63,000. The Decker ruled today that 25,000 signatures would be enough for independents and new parties to get on ballots in local elections. The WBBM News Time, 11:33. For business closed-circuit TV, call Norman Industries. Phone 528-5800. That's 528-5800.
If you love mink but demand the absolute finest, York Furrier of Elmhurst is having a very special sale just for you. To celebrate their 46th anniversary, York is now featuring their entire collection of Black Llama mink. Truly the world's finest natural dark ranch mink at savings of 20 to 35%. And best of all, each is custom crafted in the York Furrier tradition of finest quality. Let Black Llama mink work its magic on you at York Furrier, 107 North York Road in Elmhurst.
24th Ward Alderman David Rhodes held a City Hall news conference today to announce he's supporting State Senator Harold Washington in the mayoral primary. With more on the story, here's Bob Crawford.
As Alderman Rhodes stepped into the glare of TV lights to declare that he was bolting the machine, two other Black City Council regulars stood in the shadows to listen. One of them, Alderman Eugene Ray, flashed a troubled frown when Rhodes accused Acting Mayor Bolandic of having tricked Alderman Wilson Frost into dropping his candidacy for acting mayor. Later, Ray declined to comment, and so did the other black observer, Alderman Leroy Cross.
No comment. How come? No comment. I don't have any special reason for not making comments. I'm going to do a dance for you. You ready? I'll do a dance now, tap dance.
Rhodes' action is expected to have little impact on the primary outcome. As a man who does not occupy a position of ward committeeman, party sources say Rhodes has no power base that could be useful to Senator Washington. This is Bob Crawford.
Rhodes also announced his shift from the party-backed candidate to Harold Washington stems from a lack of communication between him and Mayor Bolandic. Rhodes says the Bolandic administration has been ignoring his ward. Mayoral candidate Edward Hanrahan has called for a grand jury investigation of charges of conflict of interest against Cook County Clerk John Marson. Hanrahan says that Marson has placed city funds in a bank in which he owns stock. Marson says he'll remit the funds and redeposit them in another bank. Another mayoral candidate is sending out letters. Anthony Martin Trigona says he sent a letter to Mayor Belandic's mother in hopes she'll persuade her son to enter into debate with his opponents. Belandic stated earlier he would debate the other candidates, provided the debate follows certain rules. Governor James Thompson has a busy day tomorrow in Washington when he'll try to get some federal aid for drought-stricken areas of Illinois. Thompson already has declared 35 counties disaster areas because of a lack of rain. And if he can persuade President Carter to declare the counties federal disaster areas, they would be eligible for federal loans and other assistance. First, Thompson will have breakfast with the Illinois congressional delegation. And he'll talk to federal officials, including Jack Watson, who is Carter's drought relief coordinator. He and Watson will discuss specific steps the federal government can take to help Illinois farmers and towns that face a water shortage. For over 20 years, Arco American has been saying that most people pay far too much for auto insurance. Isn't it about time you decided to find out for yourself about Arco American, quality insurance protection at the lowest possible cost? The Sun-Times feature Money Matters said, finding a good policy at the lowest possible price won't happen by accident. You've got to shop for it. Arco American agrees and has the time and knowledge to shop for you. Every day, qualified buyers receive fantastic savings. Call ES94677 for your free phone quotation. The savings may add up to hundreds of dollars for you. Call ES94677. Most insurance plans are available with a low down payment and easy monthly installments. Arco, that's AARCO American, is open weekdays to 8 p.m. Shop and save money with Arco American. Call ES94677. Chicagoland Dodge Boys time, 11:37. Your money talks louder at your Chicagoland Dodge dealer. See Southwestern Dodge, 7340 Southwestern Avenue, for their price on a new 77 Dodge car or truck. Members of Congress have asked the State Board of Education to hold hearings on programs funded by the federal government. Today, those hearings were held in Chicago, and WBBM's John Cody attended.
The Illinois State Superintendent of Education is Dr. Joseph Cronin. He has been at the front of the hearing room hearing testimony from witnesses on the renewal of about $300 million in federal funds coming into school districts in Illinois each year. Explain the breakdown of the $300 million roughly. What is it for?
1/3 of it is for school lunch and breakfast programs. 2/3 of it are for education programs. And of the part that goes directly into the schools for instruction, the biggest share by far is for the education of disadvantaged children, poverty-related kids.
Are these funds to be cut off? What is the reason for the hearings at this point?
Every 5 years, congressional legislation expires. That's sort of an automatic sunset provision. The Congress then either can cease the program, which we don't want them to do, can reenact it in the same way, or can make improvements. And it's for the latter purpose that we're having a series of hearings so that school people and citizens, PTA leaders and others can tell us what kind of improvements could be made. And then we'll forward these suggestions to HEW, President of the United States, and to the members of the Illinois Congressional Delegation.
How much of these funds come into Chicago each year?
Well, about 1/3 of it. Chicago is the largest recipient of Title I, which are the disadvantaged funds, bilingual programs, and also the school lunch and breakfast programs for needy students.
Now, that's $100 million a year into Chicago alone in earmarked funds. I understand presently it's $58 million going specifically to Title I educational programs. Again, review for us and specify exactly what are the Title I funds.
Those are the programs used for basic skills, for reading. They're used for the child parent centers, which are very popular and effective program. They're used to purchase teacher aids to help teachers become more effective.
I understand. Do you feel, the Chicago school officials feel, that that is not sufficient? The $58 million that comes in for Title I funding in Chicago is not sufficient?
That's right. The head of federally supported programs indicated that we're only serving about 1/5 of the number of eligible children, that the number should be at least $110 million higher. So we'll report that to the Congress and especially to the Chicago delegation.
Why are you getting less money for the Title I programs in Chicago than you feel you should?
Well, during the previous national administration, the formula was reworked so that it favors the suburbs where the need isn't as severe as it is in the cities. So that must be turned around during the next 18 months.
Is there any chance to increase these funds pragmatically?
Well, I think so. It depends on how great a priority education is.